Hey everybody, it's Chanoa with The Crafty Mess, and I'm here with another YouTube tutorial. Today we'll be making felt air fresheners using the sublimation method and regular copier paper. That's right, regular copier paper. You know what to do. Hit the like button, share, comment, subscribe, and make sure that you have that notification bell on. Let's get started. So first things first, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and upload whatever images you're going to be using. I'm just going to go into my images and scroll through and select a couple to use for today's video. And then once you have the images selected, then you're going to go ahead and insert them and bring them into your Cricut map. So let me see. There we go. I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to go ahead and hit insert. Alright, then I'm going to size these to 3.5 inches. I feel like that is a good size for the height. So just go in and change the height on both of these to 3.5. Perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to hit the close eye button on this image so that we can work with the first one. Before we go further, let me just show you how I created this. So go to images and I typed in Africa and hit search. Here's the continent. We're going to insert that continent, and let me just make it a little bit smaller. Now what I'm going to do is hit the contour button and remove this island so we have just the main continent. Alright, then I would go to upload, and I scroll through all my images to find the image that I want to use. I know it's at the bottom, so I'm going to go ahead and pause it for just a moment. Okay, so here's the image here. I went ahead and select it and hit insert. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make it a little bit bigger, and I'm going to put it to the back. So go to arrange and send to back, and then making sure the continent is covering her face. I drew a box over both and hit slice. So we can get rid of that. We can get rid of that. And then here is our result. Okay? So I'm going to just exit out. I just wanted to show you how to do that. If you hear any noise in the background, it's just my pit bull going crazy trying to get in all my stuff. Stop messing with that. Leave it alone, Pop. Alright. So, now, you have your image all created, in whatever shape that you want it in, and then the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to duplicate it. So I'm going to move the duplicate over to the right, and what's going to happen is we want the one on the left to be printed out on your sublimation. The one on the right we want to be cut out of our felt, so we don't need any image, we just need the shape. I'm going to go up to the top and I'm change it from print to no fill. Okay, so now this will be what we're going to cut out of our felt. So we also need an image to go onto the back of this. So we're going to click on our image, duplicate it one more time. This time we're going to go up to flip and hit flip horizontal. So what will happen is this image we're going to put on the back of the shape. This one we're going to flip over and put on top and sublimate. Make sense? Alright. Dropbox over everything, and I'm just going to group it, and that's just so that it all stays together. And I'm going to close the eye on it. And I'm going to go down to the bottom and open up our other image, which is this image of my man Smokey. And we're going to do the same process. First things first, we're going to duplicate. We're going to move over to the right, go up to the top, change it to no fill. Click on the image, duplicate one last time. And I don't really care, but if you want to make sure it's the same, you can go up to flip horizontal. This one is going to go on the bottom. This one we're going to flip over and put on the top. I'm going to draw a box over all of it and then go ahead and hit group. And then we're going to unlock the eye on the other image so that Cricut will know to do all of the steps. So now when we hit make it, it's going to take it over to our mats. As you can see, we need two mats. One that's going to be print and cut, and then one that is going to be just cut out of our felt. We're going to be printing this on a sublimation printer using sublimation ink for this process. Use whatever printer you have for sublimation set up. I'm using a Workforce 7720. Go ahead and hit this to send it over to the printer. Print that out. And then I want to show you what we're going to be doing with this felt. Okay? So, let's go ahead and I'm going to cancel the cut on this because I want it to show, there we go, the materials that we're going to be using for this second mat. Alright, so go to browse all materials, and what I did was I typed in the word felt and search, and I tried cutting out felt before on my maker, not for this project but for some earrings. So I know that this top one didn't work really good, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on felt acrylic fabric, and that allowed me to be able to change my tools to the rotary blade. When I had it on just regular felt, the only tool it would let me select was the fine blade, and the fine blade wasn't cutting the felt out. So by changing it to the acrylic fabric felt, I can change it to the rotary blade, and it cut out fine for my earrings. So we shouldn't have any issues with the air conditioners. Let's go ahead and go over to our Cricut mat. Okay, so this is actually my second time filming this portion of the video. For some reason it didn't save in my phone. So let's go ahead and put our felt down. I'm using a fabric mat for my Cricut Maker, but you can use your Cricut Explore Air to just look up what the settings would be for the Explore Air. Okay, so here is my fabric mat. I have my stiff felt that I've gone over with my squeegee thing. We're going to go ahead and get this loaded now into our machine. So I just unloaded the felt from my Cricut Maker. You can hear my printer going off in the background. I'm doing some other things, multitasking. It cut out beautifully. So there's no jagged edges. Cut out beautifully. So far, so good. It's a little thin, so you may want to double up on the felt. I feel like 2 of those together is a pretty decent thickness, but we're going to give it a try with 1 and see how that turns out. And I'm going to just move this over to the side. So there we have it. Those are our felt pieces. Alright guys, and then here's my printed image. So this tutorial is going to be full of firsts for me because I actually went ahead and printed the images using my Sublimation printer, but on a regular copy paper. So I did not use the Sublimation paper that I normally use. I'm going to be doing 2 experiments during this video. One, well, I shouldn't say an experiment. I know that the felt is going to sublimate because the felt is polyester, but I've never tried using regular copier paper. This is just a plain old ream of paper that I would use to print out any, you know, regular document. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm not going to have my Cricut cut out the images. I'm going to cut them by hand because they don't need to be perfect. Okay, so I'm just doing a fussy cut around the images. Fussy cut is what we call it when we just, you know, cut around the image. Alright, so let me go ahead and take those scraps and move them out the way. Now I have a sheet of white butcher paper. What I'm going to do is take our felt shape And paper doesn't want to stay open. So what we're going to do is we're going to place the image down. Place the image down. Okay. And then you're going to get your felt shape. And you're going to place it in the image so that you see a little bit of the image poking out around all sides. Okay. That's our bleed that we had on the image. So it created a printed area outside of where it would have cut, just to make sure we get all the image in there. So I'm going to take some of this heat resistant tape, and that little end was all crooked, so okay, that's one. I'm going to put some down at the bottom, and then repeat that for our other image. Okay, so now that I have both images taped down and it's showing the bleeded image a little bit on the outside, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close up my butcher paper that I already have folded in half, and I'm going to turn it over because you want to apply the heat from the image side down onto the felt. Now I'm going to take this over to my heat press, and I'm going to press it 400 degrees for about 50 seconds. Alright, so I just took it off of the heat press. It's still hot. I can tell that I got a good sub because I can see the image through the craft paper. I'm hoping that that's the sign that we got a good press. So let me go ahead and flip it over. Okay. Also, you can see that the image is showing up through the back of the felt. So also another indication that we got a good saturation of the ink. And I'm very pleased with that because, wow, look at that. That's with regular copy paper. Okay. So had I known that, there's no need to spend a lot of money buying the expensive sublimation paper. Now, you may want to use sublimation paper for certain projects, but for this, I'm very pleased with the results. It looks very good. Alright, so that was like actually 400 degrees at like 55 seconds because I kind of walked away for a little bit. Oh, wow, and look at her. Beautiful. Alright, so I'm going to take these pieces of copy paper that we've already used and move them over to the side. And by the side, I mean trash. Alright, now this is the other set that we reversed. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to tape the images down onto the copy paper and then go ahead and put them in the heat press. Alright, so you don't have to watch me taping all this stuff down. I'm going to go ahead and follow those steps, and then I'll be back to see how it turned out. Alright, still hot. Just came off the press. Okay, so this was the side that we did previously. Now what we want to do is we want to check the other side. Perfect. So now we have a double-sided felt air freshener. Now if I wanted to, I could have very well cut this out into the shape of Smokey and left this background out. I like the square though. So that is trash, and that's just our regular copier paper. And the stiff felt, I got from Michael's for $1.19 a sheet, and it was 20% off with their coupon. So this is our second image. This is what we did previously. Now we need to turn it on the back and see how the back turned out, and it turned out beautiful. All right, so that's where we are right now. I'm very happy. Also, not just happy about the copier paper, but the fact that the air freshener paper and the Sublimation air fresheners as well can get to be pricey. They end up paying for themselves after, you know, you sell a few. However, if you just want to get started, you know, making for gifts, and or you just want to see how it's going to turn out initially, this is awesome. Okay, so next what I would do is I would take a hole punch. I have my crocodile, and then you just find where you would like the hole to go. I'm making a small hole because, I mean, you're going to be using a elastic cord, and that's very tiny. So then I made a hole there as well. And then you would take your stretchy cord and cut the cord to whatever length you'd like. Okay. And then you're going to apply your fragrance. So because it's felt, it's extremely absorbent. You don't have to worry about saturating it or getting it wet. You can use any kind of fragrance, perfume or oil. What I did is just took this little bottle of body mist, and I just turned it upside down in a couple of spots. And then what happens is it kind of runs and soaks into the rest of the felt. And then you just let this dry a bit. And then same thing with this beauty here. Just take it a couple spots and turn it over. And then you can see it kind of runs a bit into the rest of the felt. But it doesn't discolor, morph, or change the image at all. The image still stays quite vibrant. I'm just going to cap that so that I don't spill. And like I say, you can use any type of scent. Now I just put a very feminine scent on both of these right now. But you know, if you wanted to have one of these for a gentleman that would want a more manly scent, you can definitely do that as well. And then this is what it looks like with the stretchy cord. So you can see that you can do any kind of shape that your Cricut can cut out. I'm very excited about this. Thank you to all that have watched my previous video on how to make handmade air fresheners, where we use the dark transfer sheets. If you have Sublimation printer, this is a game changer. If you're not doing sublimation, then I think that we can probably still use the same method as the video before. And I'll link that video below for anyone who wasn't able to check it out. Again, this is Genoa with the Crafty Mess, signing off. If you haven't done so already, like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you share with all your crafty friends and turn on that notification bell. Until next time, bye.